Starting a new business comes with a lot of joy in the first few weeks, and finally that will be followed by several months of pain. In fact, 90% of businesses shut down in the first few years. The question is, are there some businesses at all that don't fail? Well, the short answer is absolutely no. However, there are some businesses that have very little chance of failing. I found 5 of those businesses, and they are all backed by solid market research. The first one on my list, ladies and gentlemen, is cattle farming. Cattle farming is one of the most profitable ventures most people don't know about. There are several misconceptions around this business, such as it is too expensive to start, it is too complex for beginners, it is for dirty people, etc. But I'll prove you wrong in a second. This business can be as simple as setting up a cow house and going to the northern region if you live in Ghana, where cattle are cheapest, and scout for good breeds that are younger, healthy, and cheaper. Any animal aged between 6 months and a year is ideal. Currently, you can get 6 months to 8 months old cattle for 500 to 600 cedis in the northern region of Ghana. Yes, I know you can't believe that. I was also a little skeptical when I found that, but that is what it is. Very cheap. You can see these offers from Gigi, and I have actually contacted most of these sellers before making this video, and they all confirmed these prices. Mind you, 2-year-old full-grown cattle sells around 30,000 to 40,000 Ghana cedis in Accra, Ghana. The thing to do, obviously, is to transport them to your farm and breed them with high-protein feed for them to grow faster. The major requirements you need for cattle farming after your animals reach your cow house is feed and a dedicated farm hand to feed your animals and keep them neat. You will also need a good veterinary service and security for your farm, though there is a little risk of failure in this business. If one of your animals dies, it's a big blow to your investment. This is why you really need to find good veterinary services to ensure their health. Cattle grow and mature in 2 years, and so I do say that this business is for individuals who are not looking for get-rich-quick schemes, but for those with the patience to invest in the long term. And here is why I say this business is very unlikely to fail. There is no risk whatsoever if you don't immediately get a ready market for your cattle. Unlike some vegetables that will perish the following week after maturity if not sold immediately, your cattle can be there for you as long as you want until you get a good market. You don't need to start with 100 cattle if your investment is low. Even if you start with only 3 animals, do everything right, and sell those 3 after 2 years, your profit alone can buy about 100 young cattle for your next breeding batch. I recommend that you start small, learn the outcomes, and go bigger the next time. But maybe you wouldn't want to invest and wait for 2 years before you can cash out. No problem. The next on my list might interest you. Off-season tomato farming business. Note that I said off-season tomato farming. Tomato farming can easily fail if you start in the wrong season. However, the off-season tomato farming business is extremely profitable because of its high demand during the dry season. Almost all of the farming here in Africa depends solely on rain, so farmers are unable to produce in the dry season when rain is very scarce. The other problem is that Africa hasn't invested in post-harvest storage facilities, so perishable food products like tomatoes are unable to live up to the dry season when it is needed the most. This creates a sweet spot for smart farmers who have invested in irrigation. Normally, traders travel as far as neighboring countries to import tomatoes to sell, which makes tomatoes so expensive on the market. If you have invested in irrigation and can produce tomatoes in the dry season, you will be heavily rewarded for it. For example, a box of tomato in the rainy season can go as low as 400 Ghana cedis, and even with that, you don't get reliable buyers. The same box can go as far as 3,000 Ghana cedis in the off-season with buyers lined up with cash to buy. There are different types of irrigation systems such as drip irrigation and sprayer types, which can be a bit expensive to install on your farm. But since it's very rare in Africa, you are going to be heavily rewarded if you install one. But again, you might want something you can start immediately and make some money, and not only in dry seasons. Well, I've got you covered too. Yam production business. I don't know what happened, but yam has become very expensive everywhere, whether in the rainy season or the dry season. In fact, Ghana Agricultural Workers Union on TV3 reported that the price of yam has increased over 200% since the beginning of this year. It is the biggest headache for consumers, but at the same time the sweetest opportunity for farmers. Yam is one of the most important root crops in Ghana and most African countries besides cassava. It is one of the important sources of carbohydrates in Africa, which is why its demand is so high throughout the year. Yam is easier to grow than most people think, and people think you need to have some large piece of land resource to be able to grow yam. Well, that is not true. Did you know you can even grow and harvest a lot of yams in sacks just in your backyard? All you need to do is provide it with the required nutrients. Yam typically takes 8 to 10 months to mature, depending on the variety. It is ready to harvest when the leaves and vines start to yellow and die back. If you supply it with the needed requirements, one yam plant can sell more than 100 Ghana cedis on the market. And depending on how many yam plants you grow, you can make tons of money. And with that said, there is another root crop that is getting insane demand right now, but with extremely low failure rates, and that is sweet potatoes. Sweet potato farming is a very lucrative venture that requires low startup capital. The demand for sweet potato is huge because of its wide uses. They are very nutritious when cooked or fried. And apart from that, they are used in the production of animal feed and industrial uses like starch. The supply of sweet potatoes in Ghana has been very low compared to its demand in the country. And so there is not even enough available on the market for human consumption. Right now, regardless of the number of tons of potatoes you bring to the market, they will be bought immediately by consumers only. So the real deal is to produce for local consumers. I have a simple plan to pull this off, but to execute this plan, you need to get a ready market for your produce. You need to target potential customers who buy in bulk and regularly. Ideally, you need about 20 of the market women that fry yam and sweet potatoes, and also those that sell raw food stuff on the market. Just go to them and discuss your intent to grow potatoes and supply them. If you reach an agreement, you move to the next one. After getting 20 or more, you are ready to move on to the field. The next stage is the production, which is quite easy. Sweet potato takes about 90 days to mature, and the key to success in this business is to start with the right land selection and preparation. The best soil requirement for potatoes is a well-drained sandy loam or light textured soil that is slightly acidic, with a pH of between 5.5 to 6.5. The soil should be rich in organic matter to retain moisture and provide nutrients, and it should be deep and loose, allowing for proper root development. When planting your vines, make sure you use good planting space and plant 2 vines per hole. Water the field or make sure there is enough water moisture in the soil for good germination. There is little maintenance after they form cover. You know, potato is a creeping plant and will form its cover before any grasses start to grow. After it takes cover, weeds cannot grow again. All you have to do is monitor for pest and disease infestation. After 90 days, you harvest them back nicely and supply them to your customers. On average, the yield of sweet potatoes in Ghana is about 3 tons per acre. Currently, sweet potatoes sell for around 15 Ghana cedis per kilogram to 20 Ghana cedis per kilogram. This means that you can potentially earn between 45,000 Ghana cedis to 60,000 Ghana cedis just from 1 acre. And this figure can be much more if you target the export market. And the final agribusiness I'll talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is the one with the lowest failure rate due to its extensive use in several areas. And that is cassava farming. Cassava farming is one of my favorites because it is the agribusiness that makes a lot of money by doing less work. Cassava has a wide use apart from human consumption. It is now widely used for industrial purposes like food processing, ethanol production, and more. The cost of producing an acre of cassava can be as low as an average of about 3,000 Ghana cedis. All you need to succeed in this business is a combination of good fertile land and proper land preparation, good variety, reliable labor, proper agronomic practices, and a good understanding of the markets. Cassava takes between 6 to 8 months to mature, and their yield can be very good in Africa. On an acre, you can harvest about 5 to 6 tons. And the price of cassava now is about 10 Ghana cedis per kilogram to 20 Ghana cedis per kilogram, depending on where you find yourself in the country. This means that a cassava farmer with an acre of land can make an average of 50,000 with good marketing strategies. And with good marketing strategy, tell me in the comment section which of these businesses you would want a detailed video on. I will make a complete step-by-step tutorial on how to start it the right way, how much money you will need to start the business, and which markets and companies you should target as potential customers. Also remember that this video is not a piece of financial advice, and the information contained in this video is solely for educational purposes. Please do your own research before committing any money to a business, especially your own local market, as the market dynamics can be different in different places. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel now if you found this video informative, and until next time, stay safe and thank you for watching.